Alright guys, Papa Pepper here. Just going to do a short series about using resources. As many of you know, I'm working on turning just some raw land into a homestead for my family. That includes things like putting in a driveway, building a house, kind of phasing out the existing forest to a degree to replace it with a permaculture food forest, growing just some perennial gardening, some annual gardening, and also rotating a variety of livestock and animals through the property as well in a number of different ways. First, just to help us work the land, and then as well to help us sustain the land and keep it. So right now, I'm in the driveway leading up to the house site. Doing some work, stump grinding, scraping, removing some stuff. But the first step is I gotta take a bunch of trees, because this was just woods a little bit ago, and cut them down. Now, where I was from in Wisconsin, it's a lot of places you can't even really have a wood-burning fireplace or stove in your house these days, and even when you can, a lot of people who don't have their own land either have to buy the firewood, which is another expense, or figure out a way to get it. Now here, I'm sitting behind a pile. Actually got a steam-powered chainsaw. I never had a chainsaw before, never needed one before, but come down here, start working the land, and you know, this is provided with funds from Steam It, which is really cool. Nice to have my own chainsaw, nice to be able to use it. Big shout out to Provider for teaching me how to use one before I moved down here. Stayed with them for a couple months and helped them get some firewood for their winter. So one thing that happened is when Grandpa Pepper was down here, helped me a couple months ago, we started working on this. I haven't been working on it for months, but when I have time, in between other things, I'm down here trying to progress. So when we started cutting logs, we'd take trees, we'd cut them about that big. You're going to say, well, that's not really a good piece of firewood. How's that going to fit in a wood stove or a fireplace? Right now, I'm not concerned about that. What I was concerned about was getting the stuff that I had and moving it out of my way. I don't need split firewood right now. I just don't. I don't have a house to heat. I don't have anything built like that. As far as fires, you know, I can have a campfire, but Barry Dutton lights one every weekend for the community, so I can always check that out too. What I needed to do was make it manageable. I can take, you know, a 4-foot section, I can pick it up, I can throw it on a pile pretty easy, I can get out of the way. Nice tag teaming this with my dad. He was just running the chainsaw, I was picking it up, moving the stuff away. When I want to, I can cut this into smaller pieces later and split it as need be. For the moment, I just need to get out of the way. Also, I'm going to grab one. The cedar goes on a different pile. Cedar is kind of bug resistant, rot resistant. People use it for a lot of things. A lot of people even around here, you'll see on their porches, the pillars will be larger cedar trees. So cedar is going to be used for some different stuff, and I'm going to put that on a different pile because I'm not going to be burning it. Got a couple different ones depending on lengths set around the property. But as I move forward, I plan on using these as, you know, some corner posts for some different structures, maybe chicken coop, maybe my guinea fowl, some other things. And then of course, the wood's going to be used for fire eventually, but right now I just need to get out of the way. One thing that I want to do is not be relying on electricity or natural gas so much to heat my house. I would like to cut every expense that I can. And if I have a forest, you know, there's ways of thinning a forest and letting the next generation grow up and then cutting it again, and you can kind of work it slowly. It just keeps doing what it's doing. And the whole time it can be providing you with a resource. I'm not destroying or killing or, you know, murdering the trees, using them and in a wise way to benefit, first of all, the forest. You know, an old forest, there's ways that it can get unhealthy where you only have some really big trees, nothing growing underneath them and stuff. But to keep something living and thriving, sometimes you need a certain amount of death and regrowth, you know, where the tree, you cut it down, it dies, and you can use that. So if I'm able to heat my house, a lot of it with wood that I'm providing for myself, that's less money I have to leave my family to go earn. And I can sit at home, you know, investing in these lives and keep my house warm. Also, it was nice to move to Arkansas because the winters aren't as cold as they are in Wisconsin, so I won't be needing as much as time goes on compared to what I would up there. So that's just kind of step one of how we're using the resources on our land to benefit us, and really trying not to waste anything. Papa out. As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.